Coming up on Citrus TV, new evidence shows a stunning pattern for parking tickets in Syracuse. Is the campus being targeted?
Another departure from the Trump White House. The Homeland Security Advisor is out the door as the new National Security Advisor comes in. We'll tell you what this means for Trump's inauguration plans.
And the president talks about possible war in Syria. The UN met to take action today, but one country is blocking the move. We'll have analyst Brandon Ross on to talk about what's next in the warring nation. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Our top story tonight, it's Equal Pay Day, a day meant to shine a light on the pay gap between men and women. Good evening, I'm Gilat Melamed.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. It's today because women would have to work until today to make as much as men did last year. White women only make 80 cents for every dollar a man makes, a number that goes down to 63 cents for black women and 54 cents for Hispanic women.
Right now, a group of SU students is deconstructing the meaning of autism awareness. A panel of SU students are hosting the discussion in honor of Autism Awareness Month. All 5 panelists are members of On the Spectrum, an organization designed by and for autistic SU community members. The panel will be followed by a Q&A. The event runs until 6:30 p.m. in Shine. After just one day, student association voting has hit a record. SA officials tell Citrus TV that voting has already hit the minimum threshold of 10.5%. That means that the election already has enough votes to be official. Voting wraps up on Friday and is open on MySlice under the Vote Now tab.
And speaking of elections, sophomore Jankovic and Serena Fazal announced their candidacy last week. They're running on the promise to improve student experience here at SU. Citrus TV reporter Conor Wight spoke to the candidates to find out what they have to do if elected.
The Jankovic-Fazal platform is broken down into 4 pillars: accessibility, diversity, advocacy, and transparency. Under each banner lies initiatives that they say will improve student life.
We're running on the slogan of putting students first.
Some of their plans include improving disability accessibility in campus buildings and increasing the number of gender-neutral bathrooms. Also in their plans is a disaster relief organization that would organize trips similar to a relief trip to Puerto Rico some students took over winter break. Jankovic was key in organizing this trip.
When you're looking at overall wellness of these kind of issues and the events that happen around the world, it goes past just relief. It goes toward awareness as well as development.
Jankovic and Fazal also have ideas that could help improve student accessibility to SA.
We're going to try to reach out to our students instead of them having to come to us. So for example, we'll have, office hours on the quad. So instead of them having to come down all the way to the basement, we'll have it on the quad when everyone's sitting out.
Jankovic currently serves as an assembly representative and as the historian of the Student Association. Fazal would be serving in her first role for SA if she becomes the vice president, but sees her role as an outsider as a positive.
I feel like I'm able to be a bridge between student association and the rest of the student body.
As sophomores, the pair is younger than most SA candidates, but they see no reason why age would be a limiting factor.
We were ready. We were kind of confident. We had the conversations. And again, Serena and I work very well as a team. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't.
Conor Wight, Citrus TV News.
Tune in to Citrus TV live at 6 tomorrow to see our presidential report on candidate Gufran Salih and vice presidential candidate Kyle Rosenblum.
Although it still feels like winter, ice skating season is coming to a close on campus. Kennedy Ice Pavilion will close on April 19th for maintenance. It is set to reopen in late August. Maintenance workers plan to upgrade heating coils under the ice and replace safety netting around the rink.
And ice skating is wrapping up, but a new kind of freeze may be coming to Syracuse. Mayor Ben Walsh wants a hiring freeze on non-essential employees for next year's budget. This came in Walsh's 2019 budget proposal. His plan includes a 2% reduction from last year's and a freeze on raises for 6 months. Despite cuts, this budget also delegates money for the hiring of new police officers and firefighters. The Syracuse Common Council will review the budget over the next 3 weeks before submitting it for approval. And starting today, it's going to be a lot easier to stay informed on local politics. Syracuse Common Council meetings will now be live streamed on the city website and YouTube page. The new initiative began this afternoon when the council's police budget meeting was live streamed. This is all possible thanks to a $90,000 grant. The city partnership with WCNY to install the 2 cameras in the council chambers.
Parking in Syracuse is notoriously hard to find, and that leads to a lot of tickets. But a CitrusTV investigation found that when it comes to the most confusing parking law in Syracuse, SU students are paying the price. Zach Lang reports.
Now that it's spring in Syracuse, snow is starting to disappear. But for university students, it can mean a flurry of parking tickets.
They're just all from parking on the wrong side of the road.
Syracuse University student Fiona Carroll has received 3 tickets on this street over the last 6 months.
I originally got all my tickets because I didn't understand what side of the road I was supposed to park on and when, like at what times.
All of her tickets were because she violated the odd-even parking rule, but Carroll says the rule is unclear.
The signs are so confusing.
Now for this parking violation, that means you'd have to be parked on the other side of the street for today. That means if you're parked on this side of the street like I am when you're not supposed to, it's going to result in you getting one of these.
I'll be honest, I mean, I've been confused when I pull up and sometimes and I have to sit there, okay, what does this mean? Where does it mean? Can I park? Where can I park?
Syracuse Common Council Majority Leader Steve Thompson says the odd-even rule was originally created to help the city with snow removal and street sweeping, so one side doesn't pile up with snow or debris.
Which is very important.
But the statistics show that the number of odd-even tickets actually goes up in the warmer months. Those top 16 Syracuse streets make up about 30% of all tickets in the winter, but when summer comes along, that number jumps up to 40%, nearly a 2,000 ticket jump.
I was stuck on one side of the road, and I knew I would get a ticket for it.
SU student Lauren Farrell got a ticket in January because she wasn't able to move her car to the correct side of the road. She said she spent 15 minutes trying to move her car out of 8 inches of snow.
There was nothing I could do, and this police officer just kept looking at me and watching me, and I finally retreated inside, very upset that I knew I was going to get a ticket for a very stupid rule, and it was just very rude.
According to Farrell, it feels like the city is targeting students.
We have a parking lot right next to my apartment building that they just love to sit in and watch people and wait to give them tickets, essentially because they know we have the money to pay.
And the city does get a lot of money from this single parking violation. These are the streets that get the most odd-even tickets in Syracuse. Walnut Place is the most ticketed street on the map, followed closely by Ackerman Avenue and Marshall Street. And with tickets usually around $30, that's a big profit for the city. But Thompson says that there's no targeting involved.
It is a revenue generating thing, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be for public safety.
We spoke to City Councilor Tim Rudd on the phone, and he disagrees. He wants the rule to generate revenue. Rudd said he didn't understand how people could find the rule confusing, and he wishes parking fines were higher so the city could make even more money. But Thompson says he wants to see the signs change so more people can understand them.
That would, to me, that would help.
Now that it's April, get ready to see more tickets heading this way. Like Zach said, the amount of tickets in this area jumps up by 8% starting this month.
New York State is warning hospital emergency rooms about a new synthetic marijuana laced with rat poison. Officials say the marijuana has led to uncontrollable bleeding in some cases. The marijuana has not been found in New York yet, but cases of life-threatening bleeding have been found in Illinois, Maryland, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Missouri. And Syracuse Symposium is kicking off a trio of arts events this week. On Thursday, April 12th, singer Colleen Katow is hosting a lecture and performance. She'll be focusing in on the Latin American New Song movement. On Friday, 2 poets who also graduated from SU will be leading a mini seminar on poetics. Later, they'll also host a joint reading at 7 p.m. Space is limited for all events, and RSVPs are required.
A series of stabbings at Destiny USA is raising some safety concerns. 3 stabbings have happened at the mall in the last month. The most recent one happened over the weekend near the Villa clothing store. Destiny USA and security police say the stabbings are isolated incidents and that the mall is safe. But in just the first half of 2017, more than 300 crimes were reported at the mall. And a Liverpool company is the next business to receive tax breaks from the county. Immediate mailing services will expand after the Industrial Development Agency approved more than $100,000 in tax exemptions. The breaks are expected to create 22 new jobs.
All right, Gilat, the weather was all over the place today. There was snow, there was sun. It was very, very disheartening for me.
Yeah, this disheartening weather, it happened last week too, and I really want to know if it's going to end anytime soon. David Edelstein is here in studio to let us know.
Yeah, today's weather has been back and forth. It was snowing at one point, raining at others, and sometimes it was even sunny. But currently right now outside, 40 degrees, is partly sunny outside. Some of those clouds will be sticking around. That's really what we're going to see. But the visibility is still okay. If you take a look in the Syracuse area, Syracuse 40s around the area, some low and high 30s. Down in Elmira, it's 43 degrees, but really just sunny, some drizzling in Penn right now. Some of those clouds moving by do still have a little bit of precipitation. Throughout the night, it is going to get a bit colder, of course, as the sun sets, but even colder as we're moving into tomorrow. 8 p.m., 36 degrees, midnight, 29, and at 6 a.m., it's going to be 27, just going down. The humidity is going to be increasing. We see on our radar right here, just really a lot of spots of snow. That's what all these little circles are, just moving across. Really unpredictable exactly when you're going to have snow or some of this rain precipitation when it's warmer out, but you're definitely going to see it in this area. Cloud cover on and off. You can see some spots where the sun might come through. We're going to take a look back at what this kind of weather means for the next coming days later in the broadcast.
Coming up, Mark Zuckerberg grilled on Capitol Hill. What did the Facebook creator have to say?
And speaking of Facebook, what's wrong with this picture? We'll tell you how this Facebook page scammed America after the break.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg started the first of 2 congressional hearings today.
Senators questioned Zuckerberg about the recent Cambridge Analytica scandal. Zuckerberg answered questions about how Cambridge was able to take private user data and commented on Facebook's response to the scandal.
Lawmakers said they were unsure if Facebook could regulate itself and prevent something like this from happening again. Zuckerberg will be back on the stand tomorrow morning.
Chinese President Xi Jinping says he will decrease tariffs on car imports.
Xi described the latest movement in the ongoing trade dispute between the U.S. and China as, quote, a new phase of opening up.
In a tweet yesterday, President Trump compared China's 25% tariff on foreign cars to America's tariff of just 2.5% and described the current trade policies as stupid trade.
The largest Black Lives Matter page on Facebook is a hoax.
Research into the page shows that the page is actually affiliated with a white man in Australia. From all the fundraising on the page, it brought in at least $100,000.
That money was supposed to go to Black Lives Matter movements in the U.S., but the money from this page went to Australian bank accounts.
The White House Homeland Security Advisor is out of the Trump administration today. Tom Bossert is leaving the White House just one day after new National Security Advisor John Bolton took office.
While it is common for new advisors to bring in a new team, many inside the White House were shocked at the firing. Bossert has been in the White House since President George W. Bush and allegedly had no intention to leave.
Bolton has let go of 2 other senior staff members in recent days.
After another chemical attack in Syria, the U.S. is considering military actions against the Syrian government, and it's led to fighting in the UN. Here to break down the issue and what comes next is Talking Points analyst Brandon Ross. Brandon, thanks so much for joining us, and what has President Trump's response been to this so far?
So right now, he's come out and condemned the Russian Syrian attacks, obviously, but he has not yet issued a formal response. He said he would take the next day or two to formulate a plan, consider his options. One option is military intervention, but we don't know what the possibility of that option is yet.
And the U.S. has consistently used the UN to sort of aid in the Syrian conflict. What action is Nikki Haley taking right now?
So Nikki Haley introduced a resolution to create a UN-mandated investigation to lay blame on Syria for the chemical attacks, but it was shot down today. So it went into the 15-member UN Security Council, and in that council, you need 9 votes for a yes, but there are also 5 permanent members, and if one member votes no, then the bill can't pass. It's like a full veto, and Russia is one of those members, and it laid down a veto today.
And what's Russia's reasoning behind laying down that veto?
Yeah, so Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has had a lot of allies in the Middle East in its Syrian conflict, but also in Russia. Russia is one of Bashar al-Assad's closest allies, and they have gone a long way to protect him in this Syrian conflict.
All right, Brandon Ross, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, April showers turned into snow today. David Edelstein has your full weather coverage. Stay tuned.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Getting colder throughout the night, but that's going to lead to some warmer temperatures tomorrow. The high tomorrow, 48 degrees, low 33. There will be some spots of rain as clouds do move in throughout the day, but we're starting out the day a little bit sunny. If you take a look, you can see those temperatures just increasing from 8 a.m., 31 degrees if you're an early riser. Noon is going to be 44. By 4 p.m., that's where we're hitting the high of 48. And then at 8 p.m., it does start to get a little bit colder, but clouds do move in, keeping some of that humidity there, which then makes it warmer outside. As we take a look, you can see this humidity though. Look at this bar graph here. It's about 50% humidity as it moves through. You see these winds here, those are what the lines are, not really pushing the air out. So as it's kind of stagnant, the wet air is going to stay, and that's going to make it feel warmer than the temperature actually is. And you can see, is it a little bit hard to breathe? Well, when you have this humidity and moisture in the air, that's when you're going to see in the Syracuse area just some medium, in some places, some high difficulty of breathing. So definitely be careful if you are outside. But again, it will be kind of rainy on and off. You don't really want to be there. Staying inside is probably your best bet. As you take a look throughout the 5-day forecast, rain, that's really what's going to be coming. These April showers are leaving their mark this year. Some sun does peek out though tomorrow and on Friday as it gets a little bit warmer as that humidity rises. We're going to take a look later in the forecast about whether any of this rain can turn into snow during colder temperatures. We'll let you know.
All right, David, thank you so much. Coming up in sports, it's a top-tier battle, a year in the making. We'll preview SU's Lacrosse's matchup with Cornell on the other side of the break.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Get some drinks!
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Welcome back. I'm Chris Venzon. 364 days ago, Syracuse Lacrosse had just finished wiping the floor with the lowly Cornell Big Red. The final in that one, an uncompetitive 15-8 in favor of the Orange. This year, though, things are a little different. Cornell enters tonight's 7 o'clock matchup with Cuse, ranked 11th in the country with the top scoring offense in the nation and an excellent defense to boot. Fans should expect a very different game this time around, and head coach John Desko knows he can't overlook the Big Reds' rapid rise to relevance.
But even in their losses, you got a 2-goal loss to Albany, and Albany, I think, won almost all the face-offs in that game. So for them to be that close with Albany when Albany had so many possessions, that says a lot. We scrimmaged Yale early in the year. We know how good they are. They're one of the top teams in the country. That was a 2-goal loss. So they're playing well. When they get the ball, especially with T, I think their percentages are pretty good.
We're joined now by Jonah Karp, CitrusTV reporter, covering the game at Cornell from Ithaca. Jonah, thanks for joining us. I'll start you off with this. A casual fan might not instantly recognize some of the players on Cornell's roster. Who should we keep an eye on tonight?
Well, Chris, I have to say Jeff T. He's only a sophomore, but he leads the nation in points per game, averaging about 6.5 points per game this year. That's outstanding, and he's really the anchor of what is a high-powered offense of Cornell. And just to put into perspective how good this guy is, Jeff T. he has 65 points on the year. The next highest scorer on Cornell has just 36. That's how good this guy is. He's priority number one if you're Syracuse.
So then, if you're John Desko and the Syracuse Orange, how do you stop Jeff T?
Well, Nick Mellen's the guy you need to look out for. If you're the Syracuse defense, he's the guy that's going to be stopping Jeff T, presumably, because we've seen this movie before, quite honestly. Down in Duke, just a couple weeks back, Nick Mellen held Justin Gutterding, who at the time was the nation's top scorer, to just 1 goal and earned him ACC Defensive Player of the Week honors. So look for him to be the biggest factor for the Syracuse defense in stopping this guy, Jeff T.
All right, so Jonah, before we let you off the hook tonight, what's your prediction? Who's coming out on top?
I have to say my prediction is 12-11 Syracuse. It's poised to be a close game, akin to the Duke game a couple weeks back. This is a Syracuse defense that's played remarkably well over the last couple games, held Hobart to 4 goals, held Notre Dame to 6 goals. The last 2 games, just 10 goals combined for the opposition. A Syracuse defense that struggled most of the year, a Cornell offense that is averaged over 15 goals a game, which is one of just 2 schools. So it's poised to be a close one. I think Syracuse pulls out the victory, albeit it's going to be a tight one.
All right, there you have it. Syracuse and Cornell from Ithaca in Cornell at 7 o'clock this evening. Jonah, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate you. All right, elsewhere, Syracuse track and field opened the season on a high note with a school record-smashing 10K performance from Paige Stoner. This week, though, it was the men's turn to rewrite the record books. The 400-meter men's relay team of Matt Moore, Kashif Miller, Angelo Goss, and Winston Lee crossed the finish line in, get this, 40.22 seconds. That's 1/10 of a second faster than the previous school record set in 1995. Even more impressive, the team couldn't practice outdoors all of last week because of the snowy weather, so their entire practice and training schedule leading up to the event was disrupted. That's absolutely remarkable. Okay, big recruiting news elsewhere for an SU basketball team that could really use a little bit of good news. Former Pitt Panther recruit Bryce Golden has decommitted from Pittsburgh and has listed Syracuse as one of his final 6 schools that he's interested in playing for next year. 24/7 Sports has Golden listed as a 6'9", 3-star power forward. His commitment would bolster a suddenly slim depth chart at the forward position for SU, with both Matthew Moyer and recruit Darius Baisley, you'll remember, choosing to play elsewhere next season. In the MLB, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox square off from Fenway for the first time this year in just a little under an hour. Both teams' sky-high hopes for their seasons have slightly tapered off as of late. New York's young, talented bats have really struggled to find themselves early in the season, but the Bombers, they do send out their best pitcher in Luis Severino this evening. Meanwhile, the Sox are off to the best start in their 117-year history, if you can believe that. But the red-hot Xander Bogaerts hits the DL with an injured ankle and will not play tonight. Two teams that have playoff aspirations. I know, I'm sure you'll catch the game. Huge Yankees fan.
Definitely.
It's definitely going to be exciting.
Big time until I get to see the Yankees in the playoffs. But NBA and NHL playoffs, coming up. It's that time of year. What can we expect from New York teams there?
New Jersey Devils, they have a game on Thursday at 7 o'clock against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They haven't lost to the Lightning this entire season, and for basketball, the Knicks and the Nets both missed the playoffs. They join LA, the Lakers, and the Clippers. There has never been a team since 1976 where there's been a season where the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nets, and the Knicks all missed the playoffs at the same time. So no representation from the biggest cities in the United States.
Thanks, Chris. Don't go anywhere.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Got a quarter?
And before we go, we here at Citrus TV want to wish Gilat a happy birthday. Gilat's actually turning 21 in just a few days.
Yeah, I am. It's a big birthday, and I will have a show on my birthday that day too, Talking Points, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. So you can wish me happy birthday again if you tune into Talking Points, and that's all the time we have tonight. Follow us online at CitrusTV.com and be on the lookout for new updates on Twitter at CitrusTV News. For all of us here at Citrus TV, I'm Gilat Melamed.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. Have a great night, Syracuse.